Hi everyone, Chris here with another foldable bike from ADO, and this model is called the ADO Air 20 Pro. The Pro has some things that most of the e-bikes that I've covered that are 20-inch foldable don't normally have, and that is a dual speed rear hub motor. That's from Bifang. It has a carbon belt drive, so this means you don't have to worry about oiling a chain, that maintenance or gears having to align the derailleur and all that. No, this model is very simple and basically maintenance free. It has a very good foldable frame to it. It's got a Samsung battery that is 9.6 amp hours, good for a range of, they claim, up to 100 kilometers that I'll be putting to the test. Top speed is 25 kilometers per hour with that 250 watt motor, making it all legal here in Europe. There is no throttle with it either. It does have front suspension, 160 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes, and I'll be covering it all in this video so you know what to expect out of the new ADO Air 20 Pro. The bike is well protected with a lot of padding around it. The only thing I need to do is just install the handlebar, which I've got to bolt into place here, and the rest of it is assembled, and it does come folded in half. So the box isn't really that big compared to some of the other e-bikes I do cover. ADO does include a bike rack with the bike. Now, looking at it, I cannot see any markings on it whatsoever about the weight that it can handle. Typically, this style of bike rack would be around 15 kilos, and I wouldn't really want to go over that. Now, the rear tail light, this is not bad. During the day, a little difficult to see, and it does have left and right indicators inside it. And during the day, again, those are difficult to see. But at nighttime, as you can see now, it adds to safety, so it's a good option to have. Our rear hub, 40 Newton meters peak, Bifang, so a known brand, and 250 watts, making it legal here in Europe. And we get a 160 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes. I don't know the brand. There's, in fact, no branding on the brake at all or on the brake levers. Kickstand is okay, but I wish it was adjustable. I wish it wasn't so high because I've already had the bike topple over once in the wind, which was not, of course, great. It uses a torque sensor, as you can see, located right there, and our pedals are foldable. Now, I don't particularly like foldable pedals, but you can easily swap those over, and I would probably do that if I was hanging onto the bike. Now, the paint job, I like this light blue. Very nice finish to it. I think it looks great. You can't really see any welds because they grind those right down. The seat post is lockable, and this is something we do want because it is the battery as well. This is the 9.6 amp hour battery, good for up to 100 kilometers. There's the on and off button right here. The padding on the seat is nice. It's got a bit of cushion to it. It's not overly hard like some of the seats we do have. And come around the other side here, I just wanted to quickly show you that our chain wheel at the front, this has 64 teeth. And we are, of course, using a carbon belt drive, and this is a Talingo brand. So not the typical Gates we see, but these are normally good for around about 25 to 30,000 kilometers, and just the single speed. But of course, the hub, the Bifang hub, has a second gear in it, so 2 gears. Now, these tires, they are from Chaoyang, 20 inches. And I normally run around about 40 PSI in these, so they've got a little bit of give. You can put even more in if you wanted to make them a bit harder. 45 or so is good. And the included mud guards, now these are made out of metal, so susceptible to scratches and chips and things, but they do feel good. The quality, front shock, this is adjustable while we got preload on the other side, and here you can lock it out completely, which is great. And the travel of this front shock, well, it's about 40 millimeters. That's what I've measured according to the grease mark that I have here in my time testing it out. And then we have a front headlight, does the job with a reflector. Nothing amazing, but again, good for added safety, good to have this option. Here we have where the folders and the latching mechanism has a little security on it. So we see this a lot with other brands. So you need to push this forward, then you can pull that lever out and it locks into place. Note that the paint here has a little bit of damage there to it. I don't really know how that did happen. I think it was with folding it, and it's just a little bit more prone because that is where this area mates together. It is flush, so you don't feel any flex or give in this, and it is reinforced, so it gives me a lot of confidence. It feels like you're riding a normal style frame and not a foldable bike, which is good. Similar story with the front foldable handlebar. There is a little security that you need to push up, then you pull down on the lever. This one's a little tighter to pull down, and doing it one-handed is a little difficult, but there we go, I've managed to do that, and you can drop then that handlebar right down. So this is great for folding it and placing it in the boot of a car, for example, as you can see now. Now this is a medium-sized estate, so if you have a very small car, it might be a little bit difficult. You probably have to put the seats down, but at least you can fit the bike in the boot of a car, trunk of a car, or under a stairwell. ADO has gone with lock grip, so this means that they're not going to rotate around. They're reasonably comfortable, nice bit of grip. The brake levers, being hydraulic, have a really good feel to them, but they are not adjustable like some. Get an included bell. The safety, always good to have that. And overall, not bad. The quality of everything. The frames, the welds. Oh, and you can adjust this too as well. That has a quick release. You get a quick release with this handlebar here, and then the seat post, but of course that one is locked into place, and the bike does come with side reflectors. Here we have our pedal assist levels, up and down, power on. This little switch here is the left and right indicators just for the rear, and the screen displays our speed odometer, trip, average speed, voltage as well if you want, and the 3 different pedal assist levels, and you can use the application to set the eco mode, the sport mode, and whatnot. Now let me show you what it is like to fold and how quick it is. So I've just put up the kickstand there. I need to push down the lever here, and I can drop the handlebar down to one side, and then security gain forward, open that latch, and I use my knee here to help facilitate bending that in half, and there we go. That is the bike folded in half, and of course I can drop that seat post down if I want to make it even shorter. What's our ADO D20 Pro like to ride? So I think it's a perfect bike for city commutes, right? Where I am now, flat areas, I got bike lanes, and not too much traffic, not a lot of pedestrians around here at the moment. So the size of it and the geometry of the frame is okay. Now it can cater to rider heights of up to 200 centimeters. I'm about almost 180 centimeters tall, and as I ride along here you can see that I've got so much space here between the handlebars and my knees. That is very good. Now belt drive with the 2-speed hub from Bafang. Now you feel the change in the gears. You notice it normally around about 19 kilometers per hour. So I start out, it makes it a lot easier to pedal, better for our climbs too, of course, having those 2 speeds. This is the future. This is definitely the way forward when it comes to the belt drive systems. They really do need gears, otherwise it's quite hard going. So if I pedal now, I've got the assistance up to 25 kilometers per hour, and it was at about 19-20 kilometers I felt that change, and it's very good pedaling along. It adds to the efficiency of this ride, and the motor 40 nanometers of torque, so it's smooth, it's comfortable, and good that we do have the front shock. A lot of city bikes, foldable bikes, don't really use the shock absorbers because it adds to the weight of them, but it's a nice little touch to have that there, just cushioning out any rougher terrain. And now I'm on a bike lane here, which is very good, very comfortable. Again, I feel that change of the gears. It's really smooth, very comfortable. So you have those 3 different pedal assist levels. And how about that top speed? So as I mentioned, 25 kilometers per hour is what it will get you up to with the pedal assistance. Now when you need to pedal over that, I'm pushing as hard as I can now, and it's reasonably flat here. Get it up to around about 28, 29 kilometers per hour, and I'm not ghost pedaling. My legs aren't spinning like crazy. I can maintain this kind of speed around 29, almost 30, which is good. So it's a great top speed for a 20-inch e-bike. And my climb test. So this spot here is about a 20-degree climb, and because I'm not going over 19 kilometers per hour, the bike is in the low gear, which is the gear you start out in always. And this is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, considering that it's just a single drive. Well, the 2 gears, but the belt drive. So there are no gears here that I can put it into a really low gear. So I am in the pedal assist level 3 of 3. And this is, I'm having to put in an average effort, I would say probably around 50% is my effort, 50% the bike, and the torque sensor power delivery is very smooth and instantaneous. It gives you that power straight away, which is really good. As for our brakes, so hydraulic disc brakes with plenty of bite. I'm really impressed with them. So from 30 kilometers per hour from the white post, full emergency brake. And wow, for a 20-inch bike, these brakes are amazingly good. So well before that post, putting it in a well above average category there for braking performance. The tires too, the Chow Yangs, they help. They've got plenty of grip to them. And it's just these brakes, wow, they are good. They've got so much bite. You have to be careful with that front brake, especially in the wet, because it will slip quite easily. But fantastic brakes with the ADO Air 20 Pro. And what about our range? The battery is a 9.6 amp hour, 36 volt Samsung cell battery. And they claim ADO that you can get up to 100 kilometers of range in their tests. Now that of course would be using pedal assist level 1 of 3, eco mode, completely flat, and probably a rider that only weighs 20 kilos, right? Well, I weigh close to 80 kilos at the moment. And in my testing, you're looking at a range of around about 60 to 70 kilometers, which is about 30% less than their claim. However, for a 20-inch e-bike, that is very good. It's a great range. I think it's the torque sensor that is really helping out here. And the other thing is the second gear too, for those top speeds. Once you go over 25 kilometers per hour, then it's not using the motor. Okay, recapping now, there's a lot to like about this bike here. The fact that it's got a very good frame to it, finish, build quality is excellent. It climbs really well for a belt drive, considering the fact that we've got the 2 gears really does help out. Then the 250 watt motor gives us plenty of power. We get up to 25 kilometers per hour, 250 watts, so it's all legal here in the EU. There is no throttle. Front shock is okay. It's not the best, but it's great to have that option there. And the foldable pedals. This is one thing I don't like with this particular model, one of my cons. All of my cons are really just nitpicking minor things that can actually be fixed. So the other is that I don't particularly like the rear tail light. I think it should be a lot brighter. It's good having the indicators, but they're kind of useless because you can't see them during the day. Only if you ride at night. It does give you that added safety there. The front headlight could be a little bit brighter here. So they're very minor little things. The rest of the bike, very good, but it is a little expensive. It's about 1,600 euros for the Air 20 Pro here. But if you want one of the better foldable 20-inch e-bikes out there in the market currently, I think it's definitely worth that extra for the torque sensor, the rear hub motor, the carbon belt drive. All of that you do get is very good. So thank you so much for watching my review of the ADO Air 20 Pro.